You don't know the power of the video games. Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the show. This is Han Talks First. I am Han, and this is our first ever video game review on the YouTube channel. And you guessed it, we're talking about Vader Immortal. One of my Christmas gifts this year was the Oculus Quest 2. And this game, or this VR, is so much fun. And right as I got it, the first thing I got was Vader Immortal. And oh my God, we're going to talk all about it today. I mean, I could spend all day talking about the whole Oculus Quest on its own, but I'm going to try and limit it to just the video game, Vader Immortal. But they're both equally awesome. But I'm going to break down everything for you, give you a plain review, and also share some of my thoughts and footage from the actual gameplay of me using it. Now, the story Vader Immortal is canon, so if you have not played the game, which I highly recommend you do, and you don't want to see any spoilers, I recommend you stay away from this video. Somehow, I managed to stay spoiler-free for an entire year, and I kind of want other people to experience that as well, so if you're like me, just come back and watch this video after you've played the game, and we'll talk to you then. So this game takes place shortly before the movie Rogue One on the planet Mustafar, and it's about two smugglers on the run from the Hutt gangsters, and then they get captured by Imperials. And you, the player, comes into contact with Darth Vader. Now, the player of this game has a link to an ancient lineage that Vader needs to unlock a long-lost artifact that has So Vader needs you to his own nefarious ends. He initially presses you into his service, then you become an ally, and as the story progresses and you see Vader's intent, you become his enemy, and you must confront him. This game is directed by Ben Snow. Ben Snow is a visual effects artist and a visual effects supervisor on many different movies, some of which you've probably heard of, such as King Kong, Iron Man, Pirates of the Caribbean. But he's no stranger to Star Wars because he also worked on the visual effects in Attack of the Clones. And he also worked on another VR game called Secrets of the Empire, which is a whole other thing that is a whole different video. Maybe I'll do it, maybe I won't. Ben Snow also contributed to the writing of this story, as well as David S. Goyer and Colin Mackey. Now, David S. Goyer is the biggest contributor to the writing on this since he did the story and the script. You're probably most familiar with David Goyer because he's most notably worked on the Dark Knight trilogy, as well as other big Hollywood movies. So this game is a 3-part series. Each episode costs $10, and each one has about 40 to 45 minutes of gameplay. Or if you're like me and you like to walk around a lot, maybe more like 2 hours. So here is my general review of the game, and then we're going to get into the nitty-gritty. So instead of this being like a regular VR game with like puzzles and nice visuals, it has that and so much more. The immersiveness of the first episode alone is something that I've never experienced when playing a video game before. I mean, I think that's part of the reason why this game went on to become Game of the Year in 2019. This game has a good balance of cinematics and interacting with the world. And to be honest with you, it really does feel like you're stepping in to one of the Star Wars movies and becoming a part of it. Okay, so check this out. This is some of the footage of me playing the game and my initial reaction to it.
Oh my God! Damn, that goes far.
Very cringe, sorry. Okay, so I'm going to start from the top and go all the way to the end. I'm going to skip a few things here and there because I don't want to give you a beat by beat of the game because that would be boring and dull, and I want this to be a shorter video. So let's start at the very beginning, which is where you first step into this virtual reality. So you start off on your smuggling ship, and as soon as you're let into this world, it feels so real. Now you have to remember, this is one of the first times I've ever actually played VR. Up until this point, I've only done it one other time, and that was playing the Secrets of the Empire VR experience. But this one was so much different. The 360 view, the game engine of the Oculus Quest is remarkably fast and has unbelievable graphics. But anyway, you start off on the ship and you meet Zoe, who is your droid companion, voiced by Maya Rudolph, which was a nice little Easter egg, I guess, if you want to call it that. But she was really funny, and I liked hearing her voice in there, something familiar. Anyway, she instructs you to walk up to the pilot seat and begin to put the ship into light speed. So right away, you're already like, oh my gosh, I get to go into light speed and feel how this, like, what it's like to be in a light speed ship, like, aside from like the rides at Galaxy's Edge and stuff like that. So you flip the switches and you pull the lever and you go into the lightspeed mode. And it's one of the most beautiful introductions to a video game I've ever been involved with. Another really great thing about the mechanics of this game is that this is kind of more of a review of the Oculus Quest in this comment, but the ergonomic feel of the controllers. It really does feel like you're gripping a handle or a lightsaber or flipping switches in this game, because the controller really can understand what you're doing. And the game is designed around it so that when you're grabbing stuff or picking up objects, you feel like you're actually holding those things, which is really cool. So anyway, the whole intro of the game continues on, and you basically come up to the planet Mustafar. Once you get to the ground level, that's when you see it. You see Vader's castle. And it was a dream come true for a Star Wars fan. Even if I didn't like Star Wars, I would think this game is so cool because the visuals are just amazing. And of course, this whole intro is leading up to the moment that you meet this guy. Is that moment that you see Vader sends chills down your spine. So basically, when the Imperials bring you in to the castle, they put you in a holding cell, and there you're waiting until Vader can come and question you. So he comes from a corridor down the hallway, and it opens up, and you just see white behind him and like smoke entering out through the doorway. And then he approaches you, and this dude is huge. This is a much shorter version of the one we got. Right away, he's intimidating. He's eerie. It's got a horror element. It's just everything you would hope to see from Darth Vader. So when he comes up to you, he hands you this little, this little puzzle-looking thing, and he asks you to open it. Now, this is not what was in the game. This was the closest thing I had related to the object. This is actually one of those winding music boxes, and it plays a Star Wars song. So anyway, he asks you to open it, and only certain people can open it. But anyway, when you open it, you find out there's a crystal inside, and he says, "This is the one I've been looking for." So right away, you're put into what the potential story of this game could be, and you find out that you are actually of importance to Vader, and he's going to use you for his own nefarious ends. So after that, he leaves the room, and you're stuck in the holding cell, and there you meet another person in the cell. And it's a Mustafarian, a local to the planet. And they say, "I'll help you break out if you help me break out." So you break out and you start to make your way through Mustafar's castle, like through the air ducts, behind the walls, just kind of sneaking around, trying to make your escape. And at one moment, you actually come up to a vent in the wall where if you look through it, you can spy on Darth Vader. This was easily one of the coolest parts of the game. So when you're spying on him, you see that he's talking to a mysterious figure with a cloak over his head, and his identity is unknown to us. You also see that they're standing in front of this giant holocron-shaped thing. It looks like a technological device, but you're not sure at this point. And he's talking to it, and then you hear Padme's voice coming from it. Vader loses Padme's call from that machine, so he gets upset, and he uses the Force and kind of blows the vents away, and you also get blown away too. And so then you continue to make your way through the castle to try to escape. Along the way, you run into this priestess, a Mustafarian priestess, who is friends with the guy who helped you escape. And she says, "I'll help you get out if you helped me get the bright star from Vader before he gets it." So at this point in the story, you find out that you are a link to the bright star, which Vader is after. And if you get it before Vader, then you can escape the planet with the help of the Mustafarians. Now, as the game continues, moving into episode 2, Vader does confront you and offer a partnership and says, "If you help me find the bright star, I will continue your training." And so as the player at this point in the game, you really only have one choice, which is to continue your training with Vader because you are trapped in an unlucky situation. But ladies and germs, that is it for this part of the Vader Immortal review. Tune in tomorrow. We have part 2 coming out where we discuss episodes 2 and 3 of Vader Immortal and then go a little bit deeper into what happens in this game. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you will come back tomorrow and the next day to see other great videos about Vader Immortal. Tomorrow is part 2 of the review, and then the day after that, we are talking about the new lore that was established in Vader Immortal. So thank you again for being here with us today. Thank you if you've been a subscriber for a long time, and if you haven't, I'm watching you. Please come and subscribe. But thank you so much for sticking through the whole entire video. It means a lot to me. If you haven't liked this video yet, please go ahead and, it's right there. It doesn't take too much time. It would really mean a lot. And if you haven't subbed, consider subbing, because then you'll know when a freaking video comes out. And you don't have to wait around. and look like an idiot. Like me. Anyway, take care. Have a good rest of your day. May the force be with you.